David Zublick here with your Dark Outpost morning update. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. First, I want to tell you something here. The world, well, you know this, folks. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. The world is falling apart. It is. Every day, another shocking headline in the news. We bring many of them to you here, some of which the mainstream media doesn't even bring to you. And you end up wondering, what's tomorrow going to bring? What's tomorrow going to bring? We're going to be here. That's why those who do know, who are informed, like you in this audience, are using today to prepare for what's to come tomorrow. I'm talking about getting your family some high quality emergency food from a great company called My Patriot Supply. Look, this is the best company out there for delicious, nutritious, storable food which you can eat and enjoy in the comfort of your own home with your family and friends right now. But in the event of an emergency, and I'm talking about a real emergency, a natural emergency or a man-made emergency, in the event something like this were to occur, you would have this delicious, nutritious, storable food on hand to provide for yourself and your family. My Patriot Supply is the nation's leading preparedness company. Now, food is not all they sell. They have a great selection of excellent products to make sure you and your family are ready, if necessary, to bug out or hunker down. And we're coming into what is promised to be a real humdinger of a winter. So we could have some natural problems, or the way things are heading in our society right now, it could be some serious social problems. Now, My Patriot Supply has been in business for going on like 14 years now. They're the nation's leading supplier of preparedness products, and they've served millions of American families just like yours. And now they want to help you by giving you $50 off their popular 4-week supply of emergency food. You get 4 weeks of food per person, with meals designed to give you the 2,000 healthy calories a day that you need. Healthy calories. And that's great. But you can store this food and it stays good for up to 25 years in proper storage. So it's going to be there for you when you need it. Other food, well, it goes bad fast. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to visit the website specifically set up for me, right? Preparewithdavid.com. That's preparewithdavid.com, or just go to our flagship website, darkoutpost.com. and click the link to take you to preparewithdavid.com. Save $50 per kit if you act now. That's preparewithdavid.com. All right, thank you very much. Let's take a look at some of the stories going on in the news right now. The former boss of the Food and Drug Administration says that the 6-foot social distancing rule was a bunch of bullshit. Remember that? Scott Gottlieb, the former commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, has testified that the 6-foot social distancing rule was actually arbitrary in and of itself. He admitted nobody in the government even knows where it came from. It was a bunch of crap. In other words, our leaders knew this was a bunch of crap, but imposed them on us anyway. During an interview on Face the Nation, Gottlieb discussed the rules and risks early in the pandemic, explaining that the Trump administration shifted its focus on the devastating impact lockdowns and rules because they were concerned about the economy and the children. And he said, my view is that they were sold on the idea that you weren't going to be able to really affect the spread, and that anything you did was just going to have so many repercussions in terms of impact on children who might not be in school, impact on the economy, that the costs were worse than the disease. He said the schools were a perfect example of the lack of effective policymaking. Yeah. And we have some of those effects lingering right now with all of the kids in school having to wear masks, right? All day long. Maybe your kids as well. He said, so the single reason why most schools remained shut and why they're wearing masks now is because the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, was telling them that they had to keep the kids 6 feet apart. He said, if the CDC had said you could only have to keep kids 3 feet apart, then a lot of schools would have been able to remain open. In other words, the schools, they didn't even need to close last year. Although, in some cases, that might not have been a really bad idea because it exposed a lot of parents to the fact that they were able to homeschool their children and prevent them from being indoctrinated. Yeah, interesting. So the 6-foot rule, among other things, was a pile of crap. Prince Andrew was finally served with his sex trafficking lawsuit papers this week, prompting fears among the world's powerful elite that their crimes are soon going to be exposed. In a filing with the U.S. District Court in Manhattan, lawyers for Virginia Roberts Giuffre, the child sex slave raped by Prince Andrew and others, said they successfully sent the civil lawsuit to the prince's Los Angeles-based lawyer, Andrew Bretler, by email and FedEx. Under federal rules, the Duke of York has 21 days to respond or could face a default judgment, which would officially label him as a child sex offender. Prince Andrew has repeatedly denied Virginia Roberts Giuffre's claims. Bretler did not respond to a request for comment from many news organizations. There was no comment from the Prince's London legal team either. The 38-year-old Giuffre accused Andrew of forcing her to have sex when she was underage at the London home of Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. She also said Andrew abused her at around the same time in Epstein's mansion in Manhattan and on Epstein's private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Epstein, a financier and registered sex offender, allegedly killed himself in a Manhattan jail in August 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Well, we know that that's not true. Epstein did not kill himself, nor was he killed by anybody else. He was extracted by special forces operating under the direct orders of President Donald Trump and is currently in protective custody, where he is set to expose the heinous crimes of the powerful elite in exchange for some sort of a plea deal which was made. Did you watch the Emmy Awards last night? I did not, because I don't watch any of those awards, but I know some of you in this audience probably did, because there are some shows that you just love to watch. Well, guess what? Did you notice that pretty much everybody except the waiters serving people at their tables was maskless? COVID mandates apparently are only for lower class Americans like you and me. And the elite are now openly rubbing your face in it. Not a single Hollywood celebrity wore a face mask on Sunday evening's Emmy Awards in Los Angeles. Maskless celebrities could be seen hugging and kissing on camera at the awards ceremony, while their hired help were forced to stay muzzled throughout the entire event. LA health officials announced on Monday that the celebrities didn't violate the county's mask mandate because they're a protected class who deserve special exemption, just like Congress and the NBA players, who apparently also are not going to have to get a COVID vaccine and wear masks, apparently. Speaking of Epstein, getting back to that here, this is interesting. Jeffrey Epstein's friend Jean-Luc Brunel, who shared a child sex slave with Prince Andrew, has been charged with brutally raping another child. The 75-year-old Brunel is currently on remand in a Paris prison in connection with multiple rapes on Virginia Roberts Giuffre and another woman who is also suing the Duke of York for raping her as a child. It follows dozens of women saying Brunel raped them while running a pedophile ring for Epstein and his VIP pals. An investigating source in Paris confirmed that Brunel was, in June, charged with aggravated rape of a young foreign model. The source told La Parisienne that the crimes were allegedly committed in the late 1990s when she was only 17 years old. Cher says the GOP will destroy America like Hitler destroyed Germany. Who even cares what Cher has to say? Do you really care? I really don't. Scottish government plans to allow 16-year-olds to legally change their gender. And U.S. trial finds Pfizer and BioNTech vaccines are safe for 5 to 11-year-old children, which means it's just a matter of time before younger and younger children are going to be vaccinated, probably some of them forcibly. Are your children or grandchildren going to be among those kids who are forcibly vaccinated? Please join me today at 12 noon Eastern Time on Rumble for the full 4-hour edition of Dark Outpost. Among our guests are Bryce Watson of Esoteric Atlanta, discussing the missing, lost, or banned books of the Bible. And we will be joined in the final hour of the program by Prime Minister. Now, some of you know who Prime Minister is. Some of you don't. Let me assure you, we are going to set some fires today, some real fires. When Prime Minister joins Bryce Watson and I on the Dark Outpost today, the entire program gets underway at noon Eastern Time on Rumble. Please join us there today. This is David Zublick with your Dark Outpost Morning Update.